Some breaking news in a CBS Sports HQ. Clippers star and two-time Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard underwent surgery to repair a partially torn ACL. Leonard suffered the injury in Game 4 of the Western Conference semifinals against the Jazz. The 30-year-old then missed the final 8 games of the playoffs. Leonard has a $36 million player option this coming season in LA, but could opt out in favor of free agency. There's currently no timetable for his return. Joining us now with more CBS NBA insider Bill Reiter. You received this news of a partial tear to the ACL of Kawhi Leonard. Many suspected this could be the case immediately after that injury occurred, but the team line was that Leonard was working back to possibly play this postseason. What more can you tell us about the situation right now?
Well, a couple things, Joe. The first is that clearly the Clippers knew that Kawhi was almost certainly going to be unavailable. And that kind of, let's call it what it is, that kind of dishonesty is part of the strategic and tactical plan that teams employ. And the other thing is, you look at the history of this injury, it certainly depends on the player, but 5 or 6 months of missed time is far from a liberal guess, a liberal hypothesis. Kawhi could certainly miss time. I think the expectation will be that he will miss time into next season, and it'll be interesting to see how that complicates his decision-making with that player option that you referenced, and the decision-making of whatever teams, if he exercises it, that would certainly be tempted to go after his services and try to lure him from Los Angeles.
Let's go down that road a bit. $36 million is the player option next year if he wants it. If not, he would undoubtedly become the most coveted free agent in the class. No disrespect to the rest of the free agents this offseason. Torn ACL or not, Kawhi would be top of the list. It's always hard to forecast what this guy's next move is going to be, but in your opinion, does this injury affect what Leonard may or may not do inside of his camp?
I mean, you absolutely nailed. This guy is an enigma, not just to you and I and other people around the NBA, but as sources have described it to me, within that Clippers organization sometimes too. I asked several GMs, obviously, before we got this news, but over the course of the last 3 or 4 weeks, whether or not they thought Kawhi would leave the Clippers. And the general answer I got, Joe, from people that are connected and have a track record with me of either knowing what's going on or speculating accurately, was some version of who the hell knows. It's Kawhi Leonard. I'll say this. I think the degree of the injury, how long he's going to be out, what the recovery time looks like, the degree to which he believes he's going to miss time will certainly have an impact, because in the modern NBA, the move when you have a player option, if you're a guy like Kawhi Leonard, is you always opt out. And if you want to tack on the same deal you just came out of with the current team, that's fine. But you always try to add a year, add some guaranteed money, add some security. And we probably should reference that there was a report this year, not from the most reliable of places, but nonetheless, a report that was taken seriously around the NBA, I can tell you, that Kawhi wasn't happy with the training staff with the Clippers. Again, hard to parse the enigma that is Kawhi Leonard, but if that's even remotely true, you couple that with this injury, and I think it's certainly possible that Kawhi could look to at least explore the idea of going somewhere else.
We thought he was going to be a Laker until the moment he was a Clipper, so we shall see how it all plays out. We are talking about a guy who hasn't appeared in more than 60 games since 2017, growing laundry list of serious injuries from ankles to quads, now a knee. How concerned are you about, regardless of where it is, Kawhi's long-term viability as a true 1A face of the franchise type guy?
Oh, I think I'm very concerned, and I think anybody would be concerned. I think the problem becomes it doesn't matter, even though the best ability is availability in every aspect of life, especially in the NBA. At the Kawhi Leonard level, when he's healthy, there's not a talent pool. There is a talent puddle. There are just a limited number of guys who are top, 15 or 20 impact guys, and an even smaller number of guys that legitimately, not what you're hoping, but what's real, that if you add them to your team and that guy is healthy and you give them some parts, you're a championship contender. LeBron James is one of those guys, 3-time Finals MVP. Kawhi Leonard is one of those guys, 2-time MVP. I suppose you could make the argument that Kevin Durant is probably one of those guys, his own injury issues. And then where's the list go from there? We'll see whether Giannis puts his name on it, but it's a very small group. And so whatever the risk, whatever the concerns, whatever the realities about the injuries, if you're one of most of the teams in the NBA and you have a chance to take that risk on Kawhi Leonard, you're going to do it. You're going to max him. There are going to be teams absolutely that want him to be there, despite, I think, very real concerns.
Well, for the sake of the game and for a fun free agency, we do hope for a speedy recovery to Kawhi Leonard. He's Bill Reiter breaking it all down on CBS Sports HQ. Thank you, Bill. All right, here's a look At just a player profile snapshot of where Kawhi Leonard currently stands. Accolades, Hall of Fame caliber already. Two-time NBA champion, Finals MVP in both occurrences, 5-time All-Star, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, getting it done at both ends of the court. Currently on that 3-year, $103 million contract, 36 of that due to him next year if he wants it. It's a player option, as Bill said, could opt out, rework the deal, could opt out, become a free agent to welcome all and any comers with a full long-term contract elsewhere. Only time will tell, and only time will heal that ACL. Kawhi Leonard on ice once again with a torn ACL.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.